So here we go. We are in lesson 6A, which means we finished the first chapter. Now we're going to start in on the second portion of the second chapter of our unit. Okay. So yesterday we talked about this idea of we looked at the weather data and the precipitation for a single day for Ark, Blue, and Creek Island. And we pointed out that Blue Island was having the weather most like the weather where orangutans live. Some of you may have said it Creek Island or Ark Island, but for the most part, we thought about Blue Island because it was the warmest and had lots of precipitation. Um, Although Creek Island had more one day, but it was also cooler. Ark Island, we didn't have any precipitation data for. Okay, so that was our evidence that led us to that instance. Okay, so if you want to be really sure that Blue Island is the best place to locate the orangutans or reserve, what information would you want to have? Like, what would you want to know in order to make sure that the orangutan reserve was probably best for that area? What do you think? Type that in our box. So for me, I think to myself about the idea that I might want to know more than just one day's worth of data. I want to know the temperature and I want to know the precipitation. So, but I want to know a little bit more to know, is it always like that, or is that a 1 day sort of mirage, something that pops up and you're like, whoa, it's great, but then most of the time it's not like that. Okay, kind of like some of our weather that we've had of late, where it's been really, really warm, but that's not really typical for April here in our area. Okay. So to continue our investigation, we're going to need more information, and the Protection Agency continued to gather data to help us find the best location for the orangutan preserve or reserve. So here is their message to us on the next slide. Thank you for sharing your scientific arguments. We have more data from the Ark, Blue, and Creek Islands. The new data is attached. So here it says new data from the island. So we have day two. Remember, Ark Island in day one was like 96 degrees. Now it's 82 degrees. Blue Island is 83 degrees, and Creek Island is 101 degrees. Here's some new data, right? So, and we compare that to what we already knew. Ark Island was 196, Blue Island was 95, now it's 983. Creek Island was 86, now it's 101, and that they still live in the hottest place on Earth. Would you change where you would have put the habitat preserve based on this new information? Maybe you would. Maybe after seeing this, and that goes from 95 to 83, this goes from 86 to 101, and we know that the temperature, that creek had more precipitation. Maybe you would change it, but I still don't know if we have enough information. Okay. So again, I don't necessarily know that we have enough information to determine exactly where they live. So let's keep pushing. Here we have some more precipitation data. We have 30 millimeters in Ark Island, 0 for Blue Island, and then 15 millimeters for Creek Island. And again, if you recall back here, we could find that we had Blue Island and Creek Island. So Blue Island went from 38 to 0. Creek Island went from 20 to 15. All right. Does this sway you towards one of the islands? Which island would you choose? Or do you think you need more information? Okay, tell me a little bit about what you think here. For me, I look at this and go, they're really close. Although I'm a little concerned about the 0 millimeters for Blue Island compared to the 38 on that they had on the 1 day here. So maybe total between the 2 days, Creek and Blue Island, or Creek Island has 35 for 1 day, and Blue Island gets 38 another day. Ark gets 31 day, and we don't know about day one. So I'm still a little perplexed or a little puzzled as to what we should do. When you looked at the data, you probably noticed 1 day of data was different from the other days of data. 1 day of data might not be able to tell us which island would always be hottest and rainiest. Okay, so our big question for this chapter is which island's weather will continue to be best for orangutans? Meteorologists like to predict the weather in the future, and to do that, they look for patterns. So, what the weather looks like over time, so what it's normally like. Okay, they're trying to take all of this information and synthesize it and put it together to give you kind of a smoother line and idea about whereabouts it would be. They can't tell you the exact temperature necessarily, but they're probably going to be pretty close because they know that it's around that temperature. Okay. So a pattern is something that appears to be similar over and over again. And today we're going to look at patterns to answer this new question. Is there a pattern to the weather that we can use to make predictions? So, Borneo and Sumatra are the two red dots that are over here. We're going to remember that the red dots show where orangutans live in the wild. And we're going to look at some precipitation and data, temperature data from Bintulu, a city in Borneo, so we can look for patterns. The next two slides show temperature, their precipitation from the month of January in Bintulu. So let's take a look at that data here. All right. As you look at it, I can see all the way from January 1st to all the way to the 31st. So I go 0, 0, 19, 0, 0, 0, 4, 5, 1, 0, 1, 0, 27, 0, 0, 32, 0, 0, 0, 1, 17, 0, 0, 0, 2, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and 0. Huh. Do you see a pattern in any of this data? If so, tell me why or where. Here's their temperature information. So it says 88, 90, 84, 89, 91, 86, 90, 82, 88, 88, 87, 89, 91, 90, 92, 86, 89, 89, 88, 90, 90, 89, 87, 90, 87, 89, 90, 90, 89, 88, 85, 88. Do you notice a pattern at all with any of this information? That is temperature data that we have here. So when we think about this, we're again going to want to look for some patterns. And as we look back at the Sky Notebook that we haven't quite looked too much at, they have information in a data table. Okay. And again, these data tables help you organize information that is, but it's hard to find patterns when so much data is in one table. Okay. When we see all that together. So we're going to try to organize it a different way. Can you think of a different way that we could take all of this information and put it together and organize it? Hmm. What do you think would be a maybe a better way to organize this information or to show this information to see if there's any patterns? So that's it for today. Tomorrow, we're going to get a chance to go and do some work where we're going to use a different strategy for showing all of that information from a table in a whole other way so that we can go and look for patterns.